Here we start with
Pam!
in season 4, Pam went to our old high school and got a little nostalgic.
So many memories in this old gym. Pretending to have PMS so I didn't have to play volleyball. Those were the days.
But at the end of the next season, we find out that Pam's actually a very good and experienced volleyball player. Pam, don't act surprised when the audience is confused.
What? Maybe I played a little in junior high. And in high school. Maybe a little in college. And went to volleyball camp most summers.
Although, looking at her form, I'm more inclined to believe the first Pam, who said she never played volleyball. I mean, what kind of pose is that? To kick off season 4, Michael infamously hits Meredith with his car.
How you feeling?
A few episodes later, we see Meredith and her overtly aggressive flirtations, this time with Jim.
I appreciate you coming. I'm singling you out. Can you write where I can read it?
Yo, yeah.
I'll read this when I get home.
All right.
Poor Jim. But later at a Halloween party, Robert California discovers that Meredith actually can't stand being around Jim.
Honestly, Jim gives me the creeps.
Amongst them was a man, tall, slim.
Jim.
Also, it appears that Jim Halpert signs his real name, John Krasinski, complete with dotted I's. It wouldn't be the first show to do it. Fresh Prince's Aunt Viv says hi.
There's something different about you.
In season 4, we meet the recruiting graphic designer at the job fair.
Can I fill out an application?
Oh, absolutely, here. If you're really serious about graphic design, I would think about New York or Philadelphia. They got amazing programs out there for design.
Now obviously, business did not go as well as planned because 2 years later, he shows up as Saber's IT guy.
Who the hell's going through our stuff?
Actually, that's Nick. He's your new IT guy.
Dunder Mifflin hates him immediately, and things go from bad to worse.
Are you threatening me?
Weird IT nerd. Don't get revenge on me, nerd.
But he's not the first actor to show up multiple times in different roles. In season 1, this nice lady shows up as Pam's mom, only for this actress to be tormented by Michael Scott 5 seasons later. And in season 7, we're introduced to...
Welcome to Hay Place, a place for hay.
This little boy, who goes on the hayride, shows up 2 seasons later as Dwight Schrute's nephew on the farm. And at the end of season 4, we meet Andy's parents, introduced as Andrew and Ellen Bernard.
My parents are here. Andrew and Ellen Bernard.
Only to be played by these actors.
Mr. and Mrs. Walter and Ellen Bernard!
Of course, Andy's been through a couple name changes.
I was named Walter Jr. after my father until I was about 6 or so.
And then momentarily...
Welcome back, Andy.
Drew. I'm Drew now.
Oh, Drew. Sorry.
Speaking of character changes, no character changed more than Kelly Kapoor, who is unrecognizable in season 1 as this quiet, reserved girl who looks like she was dressed by Angela. In season 2, she's still rocking the florals, but she gets a bit more sassy. And then she meets Ryan Howard, which begins her descent into true drama queendom.
I will kill myself.
Oscar goes from quiet and polite to the office know-it-all. Toby goes from a reasonably healthy lover of all things Costa Rica to disturbingly skinny. And Daryl was a stout lad whose weight ballooned suddenly in season 5. Michael Scott goes from a dangerous menace to having a childlike wonder in later seasons. But physically, what changed the most was his hair.
Michael, is that a wig?
No.
In season 1, it was this combed back, stringy mess. We've all seen him in other films. He has a beautiful head of hair. The makeup department must have done some magic to get his hair looking like that. Let's do a lightning round, just the quick hits. Kevin unloads one of his fetishes to Pam.
All the girlfriends that I've ever had have worn glasses.
But when we see his longtime girlfriend Stacy, she's clearly not a glasses wearer. When Andy takes Michael out to get over a breakup, they meet a waitress named Cindy.
You get Cindy.
But when they get back to the office, he's clearly with a different waitress, listed on IMDb as Nikki. Of course, this could be a meta joke the writers are playing on us, as a running gag throughout the scene is that all waitresses look alike. Oscar can be seen here enjoying some hoops. 2 seasons later, he acts like he's never seen a basketball before. In season 7, when Dwight sets off his gun, Oscar is delighted to find hardwood floor. And in season 9, when they tear up the carpet, Oscar can't believe there's hardwood floor. In season 3, Dwight is asked,
Do you know anything about film? I know everything about film. I've seen over 240 of them.
But in season 7, he's never heard of the movie Pretty Woman.
Apparently, there's a famous Hollywood movie from the 1980s. Beautiful Girl.
Pretty Woman.
Michael rides his bike into work on Benihana Christmas. But then in season 7, he's completely forgotten how to ride a bike.
More now.
Oh my god! No!
Michael famously proposes to Carol at Diwali.
I get it. You're not ready. We'll wait.
This is our 9th date, Michael.
Well, yeah.
But then later she says,
You proposed to me on our 4th date.
Well, I believe in love at first sight.
In season 1, Jim called Meredith an accountant.
Meredith, I heard you're turning 46, but come on. You're an accountant. Just fudge the numbers.
But later on we learn that she's in charge of supplier relations.
Good at supplier relations?
My supplier relations rep, Meredith Palmer.
Meredith Palmer, supplier relations.
Speaking of Meredith, in season 1 when Michael wants to throw a surprise birthday party, hers is the closest.
That would be Meredith.
Yes, all right. Come on down, Meredith.
But it's not until next month.
But actually at the end of a very busy birthday month.
It's birthday month. Creed's is today, Oscar's is week after next, Meredith's is at the end of the month.
Kevin doesn't wash his hands after using the bathroom.
Wash your hands, Kevin.
But he's a stickler for others.
And I'm going to the bathroom. Did you wash your hands, Stanley?
Dwight supposedly never gets sick.
Don't need it. Never been sick. Perfect immune system. I get sinus infections.
And Dwight dyes his hair after the prank with the gym is revealed.
Just convince Dwight that he needs to go to Stanford. I told him that he should dye his hair. It's stupid. It's just office pranks. And Alliance, what the hell is he talking about?
I have absolutely no idea.
I get it's just for a visual gag, but it's anachronistic. Roy in the past found the longest engagement Dundee funny, or at least was a good sport about it.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah!
But in this episode, suddenly it makes him so mad he storms out.
He's a jackass every year.
Dwight has a horse doctor.
He's just a regular doctor who shoots your horse in the head when its leg is broken.
But do we really believe Dwight doesn't take care of his own horse business?
That's it for me.
Dwight says his bathroom is under the porch.
And it's under the porch.
But he's got an outhouse on the lawn. The cleaning crew speaks Spanish.
Okay? They happen to speak Spanish.
And then there are these Russian music lovers.
Oh, sorry.
Michael leaves a face hole in the cement, never to be seen again.
You do realize that we can't serve liquor at the party.
Yeah.
We're really not supposed to serve them.
Zip it, Toby!
Apparently, there are rules against drinking in the office, but that's pretty much all they do.
Rum, gin, vermouth, triple sec.
This one's kind of stupid, but Phyllis mentioned Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey just walked in. Dwight, get his autograph.
But when Jim Carrey comes to Dunder Mifflin to interview, no one bats an eye. Same thing with Will Ferrell when Michael does Night at the Roxbury. And then Will shows up.
I'm adequate.
Midway through season 4, we see Angela looking like her usual petite self. 2 episodes later, the camera guys are aggressively hiding her now obviously pregnant belly. There was actually a 5-month gap in between filming these episodes due to the writer's strike, meaning that in showtime, Angela became visibly pregnant overnight. Angela's an icy person, and she has a particularly icy relationship with her sister.
My sister and I used to be best friends, and we haven't talked in 16 years.
But when we meet her sister later, they're 2 peas in a pod.
We're very close. We even have our own special language.
Maybe it's a different sister. The condo that Michael buys in season 2 and the condo that he hosts his dinner party at in season 4 are not the same condo. The house that Jim buys for Pam is not the same house it shows him living in later on. Unless the landscaping, windows, and door all changed. This one's not a plot hole, it's just hypocritical. Stanley pretends to be a hard worker.
Yeah, I got a game. It's called Work Hard so my kids can go to college.
When we know he basically just does crossword puzzles and zones out most of the day.
I sat next to Stanley for years, and this is nap time.
Also, Pam late in the series gets mad at Jim for taking the job in Philly.
He took this job in Philly without telling me.
But she's done the same thing.
Oh no.
What?
I'm going with him.
When she followed Michael out the door to start the Michael Scott Paper Company.
Pam, you can't be serious.
When we first meet Ryan's coworker Troy, he's this very successful New York financier. But when he shows up in the final season, he's a bumbling member of the Shroop clan. Dwight says,
I never sit down during sales meetings.
Right.
Growing up in an orphanage, you have to fight other kids for everything.
But then she just gives Andy her new computer.
I just thought he seemed to really need a new computer, and he knows so much about that one.
Angela might be kind of a nightmare, but I've got to think that at least professionally and financially she has it together.
I'm a professional woman, the head of accounting.
Yet as soon as she breaks up with the senator, she's destitute, living in tents and stealing toilet paper.
Did my rent check not clear?
Late in the series, when we find out they're all subjects of a documentary, Brian, the boom guy, and Pam discuss how they're never supposed to interact. But there's been plenty of times throughout the series when the camera crew has tipped off the employees of Dunder Mifflin.
What?
That conference room has a lot of configurations. We never see anyone moving chairs or tables in and out of it. And where does that big table go when no one's using it? If the office has anything, it's plenty of horizontal blinds, but the blinds from the outside of the office are vertical. Stanley gets mad for being called a diabetic.
Why do you always assume I have diabetes?
But he totally does have diabetes.
The Diabetes Award goes to Stanley Hudson! Come on up here, you sick bastard.
Gabe gets squeamish looking at a picture of a cockroach.
Can't look at roaches.
Does this creepy weirdo get squeamish over anything? Meredith has something bad going on with her face hair. It's never explained unless you watch the deleted scenes.
These guys took me out on a fishing boat.
Your face is almost back to normal.
But this never made sense to me.
Yes, what I tell you? I knew he'd turn up.
Where did this come from?
This is the greatest night of my life.
Is it the iPod that Michael bought on Christmas? Is it related to Casino Night?
We just have a lot of stuff down there that could be stolen.
Is it just a transition that juxtapose his happiness against Pam's sadness? And going back to the first season, who are these people? And just for fun, Michael's realtor, Carol, is his wife in real life, and Pam's lactation consultant is her real life husband. Well, second husband. When the office first started, she was with James Gunn, who used to direct Guardians of the Galaxy. And this one cracks me up. Toby's brother, with whom he has a deliberately boring conversation with about jam, is his real life brother, who also produces and writes on the show. And this was a fitting send-off. Showrunner Greg Daniels makes an appearance as an unwanted photo guest in the series finale. Did Michael go to college?
When I was Ryan's age, I worked in a fast food restaurant to save up money for school. And then I lost it in a pyramid scheme.
Here he reminisces about college.
You know what I really, really miss about college? The parties.
And here he reminisces about memories he wishes he had about college.
Campus brings back so many memories that I would have made.
Who started at Dunder Mifflin first, Jim or Pam? In season 2, Jim admits that he had a crush on Pam when she first started at Dunder Mifflin, ostensibly meaning that he was there first.
That I had a crush on you when you first started here.
Oh.
But in season 4, Pam reminisces that she introduced Jim to Dwight, meaning that she was there first.
Do you remember what you said to me on my first day of work, just before you walked me over to my desk?
Yeah. Enjoy this moment, because you're never going to go back to this time before you met your desk mate Dwight.
In season 2, which aired in 2006, Ryan says that Jim has worked there for 5 years.
Jim has worked at the same place for 5 years.
which puts his start date in 2001. But when Saul Goodman interviews Pam in the final season in 2013, he says that she's been there for 8 years, which puts her start date at 2005.
I've been at Dunder Mifflin for 7 years, 8 years, man.
2005 is when The Office started, but in the pilot episode, Michael says that Pam's been there for a couple years.
If you think she's cute now, you should have seen her a couple of years ago.
What?
Also, Jim said as soon as he found out Pam was engaged, he backed off.
And when I found out that you were engaged, I mean,
No,
it was like,
I know.
And Pam had famously been engaged with Roy for 3 years already when The Office started, which would have put her engagement in 2002.
We've been engaged about 3 years.
Every year that Roy and Pam don't get married, it gets funnier.
Finally, if we zoom in and enhance Pam's resume, it shows her start date as 2003. And now for the biggest plot hole of all, who is the Scranton Strangler? Well, that's a complex question that requires a nuanced answer. Too much for this video. Look for my next video, which is the definitive breakdown on who was the Scranton Strangler. Hint, it's Gabe. If you like this video and love The Office, please check out some of my t-shirt designs.
This is the worst!
Parkour! Parkour!
Say bandit!
What is a two-way petting zoo?
You pet the animals, they pet you back.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.